Traders, Brian here. Good morning. It's Sunday, March 1st, 2026. I hope everybody's having a nice weekend. This is a video to explain something that I'm about to live stream starting Monday. And I wanted to explain it in a video so that I don't have to spend an hour every day, first Monday through Friday, talking about this. I wanted a video that I could point everyone back to as a reference so you can get the baselines. I've been very reluctant at bringing this software package on board simply because it's taken me 3 years to get our program where it is right now. The software that I'm about to introduce to you is something I purchased a long time ago to try to help me build the scalping program. But in starting the program, there were so many things that I had to prove, and it's taken me 3 years to do it, that adding this software into the mix at that time just absolutely confused everything. So now I'm to the point where I will be honest with you, I don't know if I can make the jiggle, the reverse mullet, any better than it is right now. I mean, I really don't. We've got two models going forward. The flagship model, which is going to be the jiggle, the reverse mullet. Later on, it may include the John Wick setup. And we also have this model here, the centerline method. The centerline method, if I go to trade evals, this is what I'm going to trade, because this is the method here I keep saying where you have a greater than 1-to-1 chance on every trade. So those are the two models that we're having to use going forward. Now, what I'm about to show you is a software called Back to the Future Trading. Some of you that have been with me for a long time, you've seen me try to demonstrate it, years ago. But again, I was early in the program, and it just confused everything. But now that everything for me is laser focused, and trade location is what we've been able to isolate in our Ninzarenko scalping flagship model and this centerline method. That's what you have to understand. My whole point is been to identify high probability trade location for continuation trades. That's it in a nutshell. All the work, everything we do, it's boiled down to that. Now at this stage, I can focus on other dimensional aspects of our trading program. You've heard me talk about other dimensions many times. Price is a dimension. It's a common thing that you don't use price to predict price. That's stupid. You got to use other dimensions to help if you're going to make predictions or hone in better trade locations. It's a lot better to use multi-dimensional aspects, not multi-time frame, multi-dimensional. You see me using multi-time frame all the time. That's price and price. What I'm talking about multi-dimensional is price is one, volume is one, and there's many things inside the volume dimension that you can use. There's, like we use cumulative delta. There's plain volume. There's, volume profile. There's market profile. So that's one dimension into itself. Price is another. Support resistance. That's another dimension. And there's a multitude of disciplines inside of support resistance. So there's 3 dimensions right there that I've talked about. The fourth is time. That's the thing that I've always thought, if I could master time, and there's no mastering anything in the market. You have to master yourself. But if you can come up with a good time component to augment your trade location for your price model and your combined price volume model, and you add a time component, well then, maybe you're on to something. That's why this software here, Back to the Future Trading, caught my eye. It's a pure time predictive software. And what it does, it data mines. It data mines swing highs and lows over a determined period, which you can set. I'd leave it at default. And then it projects in the future turning points. All right, so this is the website here, Back to the Future. You can, and trust me, I want to make this up front. This is not an endorsement for this product or for you to go out and purchase it. It is very, very expensive. And if you're struggling right now with consistency, if you add this to it, you're going to be a train wreck. I'm telling you, you are going to be a train wreck. Trading, you got to master the basics before you start adding things. You can't add a component like this if you are still struggling, and if you're having trouble with entries, if you're struggling with that, I mean, this is going to completely derail you. You've got to be very, very set in your basics before you start adding sophisticated techniques like this. I don't know if this is going to work or not. I really don't. But it's that point in time where I need to try to spice up, add another dimension, and then we'll go from there. So let's take a look at what the program actually is, what it does. All right, first thing is you see these projections. This is a high, projected low. It projects out into the future, turning points. You know those turning points well in advance. It gives you a timestamp of when the projected turning point's going to occur. You're like, well, if I knew all that, I'd be a billionaire. No, you wouldn't, because it's not perfect. Okay, you still have to interpret things. You still have to trade within a context. And context is everything in trading. For example, these dots were projected highs. These blue dots were projected lows. What you have to understand is you have to have a method that identifies good trade location so that you can apply this. I'm a trend trader. I trade pullbacks. So for me, using this predictive software, I'm waiting for the trend to change. And this is a potential sell right here. The dot doesn't appear when it appears out in advance. You know well in advance when these next turning points are going to occur. It projects, depending on the time frame that you're selected. I'm going to go into it and say, this is going to continue to project 3 to 5 turning points out in time. It doesn't give them to you 5 seconds before it happens. Look, this is Friday afternoon. It already projected into Sunday night where the turning points were going to be. So that's what it does. Is it magical? No, but I will tell you, it happens enough that it's very, very supportive if you have good trade location in a good trend model. And that's how I'm going to try to use it. All right, so we'll see here. Let's walk backwards as we go through this. So now what I've done is I've removed the time labels on this. I only want the computer to print the time labels on the future projections. I don't want the time labels on now I can go in there and click a thing and it will show you the times on all these turning points. They do not move. Once it projects, the timestamp stays. All right, so here's a bearish move. We know well in advance this is a particular turn point. This time right here at 16:04:48. That is a particular projected turn point. We get a bearish move. We have a stochastics in the upper end of the range. Is that a good time to go short? Yeah, that's where you want to take your shot. You've got time, price, trend, and you may even have, we don't have volume yet, but you've got time, price, model telling you that there's a good chance this is a place where you take a shot. Here's another one it projected. You miss that, you get into this. It's 16, 17, 20. It's projecting another high. And you have stochastics. And you have a downdraft. All right, let's walk back. So here's the first turn point in this trend, and you get a move down to the VWAP. Let's back up. Here is the first low projected. It's in a bullish trend. We have lower time frame above center line for current chart, and center line crossed the higher time frame stripe there. And we have a projected low. Now this projected low was way back over here. How do I know? Because it's going to project 3 to 5. There's 1, 2, 3. So we were way back over here when this thing already projected that low. And we get a pullback. That's what we're waiting for. It doesn't mean anything if we get a projected low. I'm looking for a bullish trend, a red bars in a pullback, and stochastics down here. And you're like, well, where do I get in at? I don't know. You pick your spot. There's no black and white in this type of trading here. I could tell you, go to the highest high, the last 3 bars, buy stop 2 ticks above that, and that's your entry. But you come up with your own rules. I'm just getting in these trades. If you saw me trade the eval, that maybe you did or didn't, but this last eval, I just trade using this method. I mean, I think I've seen it for 4 days. I only traded 3 of the days, and we passed that eval. So when I get a cluster like this, and I think I'm in good trade location, I'm just either buying the bid or selling the ask over here, anywhere in this cluster. All right, what's neat about this is that this is a stop. This is the way I look at it. This is a stop. If you get in here, this is a stop. You're like, yeah, that's too much risk. Yeah, I don't know, but you're getting about 1-to-1 right there on that trade. First entry here, I mean, that's a massive move there. I mean, that's, if you're in, let's say you get in lousy entry price at 962, I mean, that's 50, it's 70 handles right there. I mean, do you think you could have taken 30 handles out of a 70 handle move? Probably. If you're in the mindset to try to get 1-to-1 or better. So these last 2 legs provided really good entries. Now, are you trading every leg in this? No, absolutely not. We're waiting for a setup, waiting for them to pitch something that we recognize. It's the same way as if I'm using the Ninzarenko model with the jiggle lined up with cumulative delta and lined up with stochastics. I'm waiting for that. I'm not taking anything else. Not taking any of the wolf bait. Okay, raw jiggle, we get 7 winners in a row. Yeah, I don't take any of those. I'm waiting to take my shot. It's like that for this right here. Here's another good example. You got to get past perfection in trading. I mean, if you're waiting for perfection, you will never, ever make it. I can tell you that with absolute certainty in trading. You've got to accept the slop. You've got to be very, very intentional with yourself. What you have to perfect is your execution. What you have to perfect is the discipline that you apply to the mechanics. But you have no other control of anything else. So, and what I mean by that is just like you can come up with your own black and white rules to enter a system like this, I try not to scope it down like that. I just, for example, in this setup here, we had a projected low. Stop is here. You see the little dots there. Now I'm waiting for this. I'm waiting for the red pullback. I got it. You know, we start going up, so I'm buying the bid right in there. And we get a nice little move up. Again, in the bullish trends, the blue dots, and I've got this colored to my own preferences. So let's take a look at these trends right here. Now we don't fully get a cross on to get really bearish until right here. This is where the center line crosses the higher time frame stripe. But we already have a bearish trend trying to form out. So for me, this is really the first pullback. You get a high projected high here. Is it precise? No, it's like 4 bars off. I mean, you have to be. You're like, well, this is not precise. No, there's nothing precise about any of this. But I will tell you, this is a pretty good measurement or trade location. Now, I would wait until we got over here because I'm waiting for this. I get the stochastics up here. We got a projected high there. We got the line in the sand up here. And we start to go down. So I'm in somewhere in this area here for a nice trade down. And you're definitely 1 to 1, probably 2 to 1 on that trade if you can hold a runner. At least, max is 2 2.25 to 1, but you're probably only going to get 1 to 1 on one and maybe 1 to 1 on the other on the back draft right here. So this is kind of how you use this stuff here. Again, would I trade something like this? Yeah, probably not. It doesn't fit my profile. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for them to throw me something. Something that I recognize where it's all within. I mean, would I take this trade right here? I don't know. I don't know. Even in hindsight, I could tell you I probably wouldn't have taken it. But I mean, you can see when the market is ranging, these buys, sells, but I'm not trading it like that. I mean, these things are just spot on. All the way down into the buy, all the way up into the sell, all the way down, you get another buy. But I'm looking for the trend trade. So if we're on a buy, this is a trade that I would take. We're on a buy. It got this bottom right here. But this is the first pullback inside of this buy, which coincides with the bullish trend. I'd take a shot here for sure. It's really nice when these all line up, but there's several variations. If you're on a buy signal, we're in a trend, we got a pullback and we have that. There's enough dimensions lined up for me to take a trade there. All right, so let's go back. Let's do another day. You don't want to do this in the overnight session. Okay, don't do this in the overnight session. Yeah, we'll just stop right here and go backwards. Let's see. So again, here's a nice one. Bullish trend. Projected low. We're in this area here. So yeah, I'd probably be in right there and taking some heat right down to this stop loss area and then takes off. Let's go back and look at where the first time is. I mean, it nailed this high right here, but this is the point here where we're not on a sell. Yeah, they didn't pitch me anything right there, so I wouldn't have taken it. This, on the other hand, I would have. This is kind of what I'm waiting for. Bearish, calling, we're up in here, so, I'd be in this cluster. Again, you're not going to get a setup on every single leg. Not going to happen. And again, overnight, you don't want to do this in the overnight. Let's see what right there is right there. I mean, it nailed that low you start getting some strength, and you go up. You might say that's not a lot right there, but that's about 25 handles. So I don't know, maybe you could take 12 points out of 25. Here's another right there. If you miss that, chance to get in right there. Maybe you take 7 to 10 out of that. Here's one where you're on a sell in a downtrend and you get a chance to get in there. So again, it's incorporating time. Now, how do I have this thing set up? Well, that's what I have to play with. See, here's another entry here on it's a buy, pull back, and there you go. Maybe you take 7 points out of that. What is that, like 20? Yeah, if you get in here, oh, it's 35. Yeah, so maybe you can take 15 handles out of 35. All right, so what are the lines? Let's talk about that. You've seen kind of the concept. This is the turn point and projected turn point. The dot is. The dot is projected on the time axis, but it's displaced from the opening price. I have it set based off of an ATR setting. It's default like 1.5 times the ATR over a set number of look back. So this is why there's distance. And this line right here, the solid line, is the opening price where the time projection is made. And this is just a horizontal line based off of the dot. And it's projected to the right, and it provides a really nice stop loss. And when you get the buy like this and it punctures at the low, comes back up, I mean, it's a real low risk entry spot there. All right, so that's what these are. The dot is projected at the exact time where it's projected to for a turn point. It's plotted and displaced off of the open based off of ATR, and this line is just the opening price line. You can set all kinds of things. This is what I've got it set to default settings now. I don't plan on tweaking that very much, other than the swing strength that may go up to either 6 or 7. I do have it on a secondary data series, so I'm running the 333 tick NASDAQ chart, and I'm projecting this using 1 minute 1 minute data series. Now I can go in here to the tick charts as well, but this thing doesn't project well on tick charts. Because there's no set time in the future of when it can predict based off of its algorithm. If you have this set to minutes, then it has a time frame to reference, and it can project those out into the future. So all this stuff is just, this is all default settings here. And there's all kinds of features built in that I do not use. I'm just interested in the time aspect. Like I said, I could have time labels on all these historical points, but there's no reason to. The historical are just simply to make sure that you have, again, this is after hours. You don't want to do, you don't want to take this into after hours markets. Okay. But, again, it's just another dimension that that I want to try to see if I can add in. All right, sorry for that lapse right there. I was just looking. So anyway, that's Back to the Future software. I'm going to be running this. What I need to make sure of is that if it bogs my computer down, I'm cutting it right there on the spot, and I'm not going to use it. I want to add a time component to what we're doing, but I'm not going to sacrifice my computer speed, for it. So I need to see if it's going forward, if it's worthwhile. So I'll try to run this for at least 1 to 2 weeks, reassess, and maybe manipulate a couple of the settings in here to try to hone in a little bit better the predictive component. But I mean, right now it's pretty good. So anyway, I just wanted to try to explain what I'm going to have on the chart, and I'll be directing everyone to this video for all the questions I have. All right, that concludes this video. Good luck in your trading.